Welcome to Friday with the Fuzz with Cooley and our special guest, Jeff Swoboda.
Thank you, Mr. Roy Rankin. Pleasure to be here in the studio, as always. Jeff, welcome back again. I know you took a week off. I missed you last week.
Thanks.
Mike missed you. He's missing you this week.
Yeah, now I come back and what? He's on
gone.
Vacation?
Yeah, he's actually out of the country, so
wow.
What's going on there?
Did we spend 10 minutes, making fun of him as he does with me when I'm gone? Oh, you already did. Good. Okay.
We do.
Good. Good to hear.
Same. It goes same when I'm gone, and I'm sure when Roy's gone, I mean, we just have a party.
There you go.
Because Roy's here, so very few, but we always appreciate when Roy's here. So let's talk first about the big story right now here in Elgin. We do have a missing person. John Cotton Jr. went missing on Tuesday morning, 22-year-old, 5'11", 220. We got some information on him, but haven't gotten any quite solid leads, and we still don't know his whereabouts. You have it on Facebook. I know we were just talking about the Facebook effect. So where's the status now of the story, kind of the protocol of what you do with a missing person, and how far of a reach have you gotten so far just with Facebook alone?
We'll stick, excuse me, just with this one, with Mr. Cotton, we get the information, and then we start, notifying, asking family and friends to contact their family and friends. We do some messaging throughout the police department to other neighboring police departments. We put it out to the media, and we go from there. And that's where we're at right now, is actually just asking anyone if they have seen anything or if they've talked with him. Then to come forward and just let us know where he's at, if he's okay. And so that's really where we're working at. On a broad scale, when we have something, because people will always say, do you start this immediately? When does somebody who just is not home yet, starting a missing persons thing? There's that old, when I got hired, I thought the same thing, but then found out it wasn't, that somebody has to be gone 24 hours before they're considered missing. It's really it's based on the circumstances. Mm-hmm. So if somebody is normally home at a certain time and they're not, but then there are other things that come into play, and then people are concerned for their well-being, then we will start immediately saying, okay, what can we do, how can we get this out? So we're looking for Mr. Cotton. He's been gone a few days, and if you haven't seen his picture's on our Facebook. You can go to our website. You can the media's picked it up, so it's been in both of our local papers. So we're just asking anybody, and hopefully we can find out where Mr. Cotton is and put some resolution to this. Hopefully he's okay and get him home. Any
leads? Should they go to the police office? They just call the police office?
Yeah. They can call the police department. They can do just a simple message on our Facebook page. Mm-hmm. They can get us something on that if they have anything. But otherwise, they can just call the non-emergency and just tell us that they have some information for us.
Excellent. So hopefully get more information. Hopefully find him soon.
Yes.
And to find him alive and well. Let's go back to Tuesday this past week. I know we had a big event on Tuesday. It was National Night Out. I know that was nationally. There's every single town in National Night Out. I know Elgin, summertime in Elgin, lots of people. So how did National Night Out go?
It went fantastic. First and foremost, Christy Schmidt and Sherry Aschenbrenner did a great job putting it all together. But at the end of the day, it's really an entire community event. The police department, spearheads it, I guess, by working with the community. But it's really it's really grown to be a complete City of Elgin event, from Parks and Recreation to being involved in it, because now we have the large party at the end of the night at Festival Park. So we kind of do both ways. Some cities just have one big party where people come to it. We've always had the parties in the neighborhoods, and this year I think we had close to 40 again. We had a couple more than last year even, so it's grown a little bit. And so we go out to them. And when I say we, it's not just the police department. The mayor, council members were out there. Joe McMahon, the state attorney, was out there. And we go and spend 15, 20 minutes or so at each party talking with people, finding out what's going on, and then we move to the next. And so we hit all 40 parties, and then everybody ends up down at Festival Park, and they had Ghostbusters playing, and it was very crowded, a lot of kids. It was a great event. And so all in all, throughout the night we were a little worried about some rain coming, but it held off, and each one of the parties was really just a fantastic time. So tough to stay on schedule, a lot of good conversation going on, but all in all, National Night Out once again was an exceptional success.
Excellent, and I completely agree with the weather holding off. I know it was coming there for a second, but it ended up being beautiful on Tuesday. And unfortunately, I couldn't go have the night out because I had to work Wednesday morning, so it was on a Tuesday evening. But everybody had the same National Night Out. What do you see as a benefit to going to the neighborhoods? I know if I were a neighbor and and the city officials, the police coming to me for our national, I think that's more personal. I would feel more safe because I get the physical feeling of them kind of knowing where I am, like knowing that we exist. What do you you're on the forefront of everything, and you're face to face with the community. What do you see as the main benefits of you going to these parties instead of having just kind of one national night out party?
I think it shows, first of all, it's their neighborhood, so they're able to. It's just more convenient. People are able to really just grab a chair, a lawn chair, and pull it out towards the street. Or some just had it in the front yard, didn't even block a street. Or some had it in their backyards. So it's very convenient. It's in a setting that they can just replicate over and over again. So they can say and I know some do this every month on the third Friday, let's get together and they come together and they just have snacks, drinks, and they talk about what's going on in the neighborhood. So it makes it very convenient for them. It shows just that we will come to them. I think sometimes too often in government, it's like, hey, if you need us, you know where we're at. Here's City Hall, here's the police department, you come to us. And I think we're really trying to change that in Elgin, and so making sure people understand that we will go to them. Just let us know a date and time. I always tell people, we'll go to every single neighborhood meeting we're invited to. We send police officers to every single neighborhood meeting that we know about. And that's a big commitment, but it's that important, and so we make sure that we do that. So, and again, not just the police, mayor, city council out there, the state's attorney, and so once we're out there, pretty much any problem that's coming up, we can talk about and have an issue with. In fact, it was this year I was with the city manager, Sean Stiegel. We had Rose Martinez, city council person, and a few years ago, I stopped off at the same party. It was up on, it was on the west side, and they had an issue with a fire hydrant that was in a bad spot. It caused multiple accidents in the neighborhood, and they never knew where they would call or how they would start, how they would start the conversation of having it moved. And it took a while, but through those conversations, and once they were resurfacing the street and they had to tear up some of the yard anyways, we remembered that needed to be moved at the same time because we keep notes of all the different things going on. And the kudos goes to Assistant City Manager Kozel, who then recognized, because he was out there at the same party a few years back, that they're tearing up that street. I remember at the neighborhood or at the National Night Out, they had a major issue with the location of the fire hydrant, so we were able to slide that over, and they were so happy. In fact, we took a picture next to the fire hydrant, and the residents there all got around the fire hydrant. It made such a difference to everybody. And again, it's one of those things that they never would have called on. They just would have complained about, like we all do about an issue in our neighborhood. But it was just because it was that informal setting, we were able to just have nice conversation about anything, and we were able to solve a big problem for them. And so it's just that kind of things. And we could tell hundreds of stories of people that just have minor issues that are going on. There's a problem over here. This house is abandoned. That window is broken. And something they'll never call us on, but they tell us during National Night Out. And just the feedback we've gotten, which helps, is now with 311. People know that they can call one number anytime for any issue, and they'll be able to get something done. And I probably had a dozen compliments, and I had nothing to do with it, but the city manager was there with the 311, and how nice that's working, that people have called it, used it many times, the people were very professional who they spoke to, and the problems were solved very quickly. So it was it's just those kind of things. It's just kind of really just ingrained in what we're doing here in Elgin, that it's all about the community, that we all need to work together, and National Night Out just is really one of the things that we can put that on the forefront and show as kind of a model of how we do it.
Yeah, just the overall comfort level of the community members being able to talk to the police. And there's kind of a rift, between just what you see on the cover of police and citizens, but just being able to kind of talk in your setting, in your neighborhood, in your cul-de-sac, wherever, on lawn chairs, just about that fire hydrant right there. Take out to talk and make a note and get it done.
One of the people we talked to, they just moved here from Germany, and so they just had no information about Elgin, and so we were able to just have a nice discussion about restaurants, about where to go, and all the different things, and about the radio shopping show, everything. And so it was a fantastic night.
So let's wrap up. I know we're a little short on time here. Let's wrap up on your internal investigation story that you want to discuss about some people that have helped along the way, and what people should do if they run into a problem with the police department.
Yeah, there was a story. What we try to do on these Fridays is kind of talk about all the different things in the news events, and one of them that was in there was the story on internal investigations, and how in the Elgin Police Department over the past few years those numbers have really declined. And at any moment, obviously, they can go up. Something can happen. We get, I would say we're business that deals human beings dealing with other human beings, and sometimes it always doesn't go the way it should or perfectly. So we have a process that if someone feels that there's an issue with the Elgin Police Department, that they can come down, and they don't always have to come down. Now with Facebook and with our online resources that we have called Rate Your Service, good or bad, people can give us our report card after every single call for service and basically say, I just had an officer on a traffic stop. He was great, or he could have been better, and they can just tell us that, and those all come directly to me. Same thing with internal affairs. That we every internal affair, people can when they say internal affairs, kind of a technical term, but people have some type of grievance with the police department. They can fill out a form. That form gets investigated and ultimately signed off by myself. It goes through the legal department and the city manager. But we take all these complaints very seriously, and what we've really seen is that our outreach, I believe, with the community and continuing to discuss them. People get upset when they feel they have nowhere to turn, when they're mad about something. They can't complain. It's kind of like if you have a complaint about any major corporation, you're like, where do you start?
Yeah.
And so we give many avenues to people, and I think that by us being very open with National Night Out, with us being in every neighborhood meeting, that if somebody has an issue with the Elgin Police Department, there are many opportunities to bring that forward, and we listen, and we try to improve all the time. Yeah. And so I think that story just really showed that while we do fall short time and time again, again, people make mistakes and things happen, but we learn from them, and we try to improve. So if anyone, this is just more of a kind of a wrap-up for it, has an issue, you can go to Rate Your Service on the Elgin Police Department. Again, positive and negative. I probably get many more positives than I get negatives. Rate Your Service, you can go to our Facebook page and send us a comment if there's something, or you come down to the police department and talk with a supervisor. But our goal is to be better next year than we are this year, and the only way I think we can do that is by getting constant feedback from the community. And so that was the story that aired this year. So a lot going on in the past week, and I think we got most of it in the 15 minutes or whatever we had. So.
We did what we could. I think it was a pretty impressive effort. And a lot of stuff going on, and with the internal investigations, if I could just do a testimony. Before I worked here, I pulled over one time in Elgin, and was on Randall Road heading north towards Big Timber. I pulled over because my license plate light was out. And the police officer, I couldn't tell you who it was. I can't even remember really what he looked like, but he was one of the nicest guys I've ever. He was very courteous. He just told me, I just pulled you over because your license plate light is out. I'm not going to give you a ticket. This is just kind of a notice to you want to replace this, go here or here to get replaced. It's really easy, but I just wanted to let you know because I wouldn't have known. I would never have known unless somebody pulled me over to tell me. And it happened to be an Elgin police officer, and that was the only time before I started work here, my interactions. So I had a very good experience.
Well, it's good to hear, and especially with traffic stops. We've all been pulled over. I myself have been pulled over. We never like to see, even as the chief, I never like to look in my rearview mirror and see a police officer right by me. It's still just ingrained in us from the first day we start driving. But if again, drivers, if we make a mistake, we do something, and an officer gets stopped, we make sure officers, we don't lecture. We don't. Here it is. If you're going to write a ticket, let's write a ticket. Let's hopefully try and change behavior, and let's move on. But it's not the end of the world that somebody, again, has their license plate light out. Now, a lot of the things that we do with speeding and blowing stop signs, because we don't go too often where we don't have an accident. And so those are serious things. But again, we try and change behavior, and we don't need to make it a personality thing or come across as lecturing people or talking down to people. So we really push that. And many times, whether it's an arrest or a ticket, it's always it's how you engage the person and how you disengage. It's seldom the ticket. I mean, myself and many officers can attest to, after writing a ticket, people actually saying thank you. After arresting someone, people say thank you, because it's really just if you just treat people the way you want to be treated, as cliche as that sounds, they can deal with getting a ticket. It's just the attitude that people don't like.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you just don't know what to say to, like, thank you.
Right.
Could be that too. Yeah, sometimes you're just kind of a deer in headlights. I've been in that situation and said thank you to things I'm not thanking for. But I'm sure, I've actually run into some really nice police officers, and I've actually thanked them for, telling me my license plate lights out.
Good to hear.
Because I wasn't aware. But that's going to wrap it up here. Thanks, Jeff, as always. So we'll see you in a week. Mike Green will be back in a week. So.
Great. Well, thanks for having me, guys. You guys have a great weekend.
All right, thanks, Roy. You're listening to AM 1410, WRMN.
Ian Elgin.